Now joining us is the men's CMX Weapons overall grand champion, the main event of the evening, Dawson, Mr. Clean Holt of Team Paul Mitchell, taking home the title. Dawson, you literally just walked off stage. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Voice is a little tired from all the kiaing all weekend, but yeah, training, came off with a good victory. Overall performances felt pretty good, so yeah, I'm pretty happy right now.
And we're going to talk about that sword form, but first, we got to give a shout-out to you making it all the way to the men's traditional forms final with that Korean form, Junjang. Tell us about those roots, your upbringing under Jason Warren, and how fun it is to get out there and do some Korean forms.
Yes, sir. Well, it's like, first and foremost, I'm a martial artist. I'm not just, a sport karate competitor. So it's just like, it's kind of surreal because, I don't really have any pressure at all. Like, it's just one of those where I'm a black belt, and I've learned forms for years under Jason Warren, and I don't know, one day I saw my teammate, Ben Jones, he started competing in Korean division, and I decided to, hit up Mr. Warren, and it's like, you know what, I think I want to put on the white gi and just give it another try. I haven't done it in years, and I'm older now. I train just about every day. I teach at the school, so I'm really involved in martial arts, practicing and teaching. So I figured, you know what, let's just go out there and have some fun. So, yeah.
Well, here at Sport Karate Zone, we love a well-rounded martial artist. And let's round out this interview by talking about the weapons overall, right? Getting up there with that sword form. In Chicago, you were on stage doing traditional as the traditional overall grand champion, trying to win a Warrior Cup. Now you're on stage for the CMX, doing all the crazy releases, nailed a beautiful form in the effort to get the win. Just take us through what's racing through your mind as you're getting through each of those tricks.
A lot of things, Jackson, but I think it's just muscle memory because I put it on the hours in. I've trained. So I'm prepared. I know where to throw the sword, no matter what the environment is, whether the lights are super close to you, it could be in different directions. It's something that I'm used to. So I know where to throw my sword. I'm used to it. I've trained in the dark countless times, and that's given me the confidence to be able to execute whatever environment it is, whether it's, in terms of time zones, we're a few hours behind. So I'm trying to adjust to that, but it's one of those where it's just like, I think being able to come on top, you got to be adaptable. No matter, you can't have an excuse. Even though I'm doing so many forms, my body is feeling, we're getting tired, but it's one of those where it's like, well, the true competitor and the champion, they have to push through. So, yeah, it's a lot of things. But, yeah, overall, just I know where to throw my sword, and it really just came through the preparation. So, yeah.
Good stuff, Dawson. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
Now coming to the booth, the truth himself, Ben Jones, just came off stage from the men's CMX Weapons overall grand championship. A beautiful run in that division. Aside from that very last transition, looked like the bow got hung up a little bit. I'm sorry to start on a negative note, but it just happened, so we got to talk a little bit about it. When something like that happens right there at the very end, were you still kind of holding out hope, hoping that the judges maybe didn't see it? Just take us through your mind in that really tough situation.
Yes. Well, first of all, thanks for bringing it up. Second of all, it's like one of those things that it depends on how obvious it is. I felt like this one could have kind of pulled off, but at the same time, when we're at this level, it's got to be perfection. And anything but that, it's going to be tough to pull off. So right away, I was like, oh, man, because it wasn't even the last trick. It's the transition out of the last trick. So, it can happen on any move, obviously. But, yeah, you want it back just to keep it simple and just, finish it out strong. But still felt good about what I did, so that's all that matters.
Absolutely. And it's truly a game of inches, just like so many other things at the professional level. Sure. And another thing that any fan of the sport that's been watching you throughout the weekend, there was a lot of new tricks in your choreography, stuff that nobody's ever seen before. Your creativity is a big part of your game. Talk a little bit about why now, why this tournament was the time to bring out some of these new folds, and how do you feel about that strategy?
Yeah, for sure. I think I got a little complacent for a little bit because I was still getting wins. And I felt like what I was doing obviously was consistent because it had been the same for so long. So after Chicago, literally the day I drove home, I went straight to the karate school and just made some new stuff. And I'm like, I can't stay complacent for the rest of the year. So I want to do more quick adjustments. I got a little bit too stale and complacent for a little bit too long. It's a little too comfortable. So I feel like I needed to add more, and I have more that was ready to add. So I just had to place it in the right spots, get everything working together, and it worked out well. So I felt pretty good about the new stuff. I know got a little bit of extra reactions from some of those new things, which is sweet. So it's always good to take an extra risk with a little bit more and get the reaction and the reward from it.
So that was all of your solo divisions throughout this weekend. We love hearing that breakdown of the strategy, but you were also taking the stage with your teammates, Dawson Holt and Esteban Tremblay, won another 2 synchronized grand championships. Just talk briefly about how special it is to stand beside those 2 guys and do karate.
Yeah, for sure. It's a cool factor because not only are we competitors, but we are teammates or family at this point. We've been teammates my whole career, really, at this point. Ever since I've been on a team, I've been teammates with those guys. So we have a cool dynamic of keeping it obviously respectful, number one, but still competitive, number two as well. So it's cool to be by their side and then also be against them. Obviously, when I'm against them individually, we all want to be the one that comes out on top, obviously. But then when we're also side by side working for the same goal, it's a pretty cool dynamic to be able to switch back and forth and still make it happen.
We are now joined by Esteban Tremblay, multiple stage appearances this evening, as well as the Synchronized Weapons Grand Championship title. Esteban, give us your summary of how things felt this evening.
This evening or this weekend? Because the entire weekend was kind of rough, not gonna lie. Going into the elimination round, I had like 3 drops in the elimination, and the only division that I didn't drop, I did win, but it was creative bladed, so I had to do a combo form stage. Not gonna lie, I feel great with the form I did. Had a little stumble at the end of that one, but really, it is what it is. Like we have to lose some to win some, right? So like this is experience for me to just know what to train to get better and make sure that I win the next one.
And I love that you bring that up, and I want to talk about mentally being able to come back from that and the highs and lows of this game. I mean, a month ago, you were winning a Weapons Warrior Cup in Chicago, and then naturally, next tournament, a little bit of a bumpier road, some self-inflicted wounds with some drops, a stumble in forms on stage. So what's your advice to especially any of the young competitors watching? How do you bounce back from a weekend like that?
I think that you cannot wait and just stick on what got wrong at a tournament or anything. Or even it's just like in practice. If practice is not going right, whatever you do, still remember that you need to learn from your mistake. You need to learn of the bad things that happens to make sure that eventually the good things will happen. Because if you just stick there and you just focus on the negative stuff, and then you just don't push through it, and you don't try to get better, and you don't try to get those wins in the next event, then it's never going to happen, right? So you need those kind of events to make sure that you're able to win some, right? Like at AKA, yes, I did win the Warrior Cup, but I was on stage 3 or 4 times in the same final before actually being able to win the Warrior Cup, right? So like, it is what it is.
Some great advice from Esteban Tremblay. We'll end it on a positive note. What are you looking forward to next this season?
Definitely getting more consistent, I guess. I felt I was really strong at AK, and apparently maybe I did something wrong training to that event. We'll see.
Esteban Tremblay, sure to bounce back soon. Thank you for your time, Esteban. Joining us now is Team Showtime's Michael Molina, living up to that title, always putting on a show himself. He was the winner of both the CMX and traditional weapons runoffs for his age group, and so he was automatically the overall grand champion. So, Michael, tell us about what it's like to just have a chance to go up there and put on a show.
First of all, it's freedom. You know, all you do, just catch a clean form and you win, but still, you have to have that showmanship. Showmanship. That's pretty much the whole part of competing. Showman. Even though it's just you have to put on a show, make that crowd go loud and noisy.
I love it. And is there also a component of trying to show the judges, like, hey, you want to make sure you put me on stage every time? How much are you trying to prove to that panel of judges that's watching your demonstration?
I want to prove them every single time because, you know, if I if I'm away for a long time, I still want them to know Michael Superbomb Molina. So that's what I do. So, sir.
You gotta love Super Bomb. And you were also on stage this evening performing with your sister Cody in the team synchronized division as the winners of the traditional weapons synchronized division. So tell us about that experience of getting to train right alongside your sister and excel at a high level.
First of all, it's my sister. Sometimes we fight, sometimes we get along, but the thing is just to have fun. I'm my sister. I just have fun because we're going against 18 plus kids that rule the 18 plus division, Team Paul Mitchell. So, yeah.
I love it. And Michael, you're so fun to talk to. I got to ask you just one more question.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite thing about being on stage?
I think the crowd. The crowd is adrenaline in my veins, and in the future, I feel like that just helps me a lot more in the future with being on stage again and again. And just the crowd. I love the crowd. The lights are the worst part, though, sometimes.
The lights can be a challenge. Well, hey, Michael, thank you so much for your time. This crowd here in California loves you. I love you, and can't wait till we see you again.
Yes, sir.
Olivia Cano, the 13-under girls weapons overall grand champion here at the Compete Internationals. Olivia, tell us about how this feels to be an overall grands winner so early in the season.
It feels really good. 2 years ago, I won the same thing for CMX, so I'm very excited to win my last one for 13 and under before I move up.
And tell us a little bit about how hard that is to prepare for, to do both the CMX, the Creative Musical Extreme, and the traditional, and excel at both to the point of being able to win overall grand championships. How do you train for that?
A lot of full forms, section training, weighted training, that's a lot, and heavy bow strikes.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Olivia. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now we have Lukas Drevinskas, your 13-under boys forms overall grand champion, another traditionalist taking home a title tonight. Lukas, tell us about being up there and getting the win.
Well, this is my third time being on stage, first time winning overalls. Very exciting, very interesting, very scary. Obviously, I was obviously very nervous, but I pushed through and came out with the W. So.
And congratulations on your first career overall grand championship. That is a major accomplishment. Tell us, how long has that been your goal in sport karate?
So I've started sport karate when I was 2 years old. I started going to tournaments about, I'd say 4 years ago, and I started NASCA 3 years ago. So it's always been my goal to win one of these, been my dream to win one of these title on stage in front of everyone, the crowd. So I've accomplished that, and this is the first of many more. So.
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to see the future from you, Lukas. A fantastic 13-under division. You coming out on top this weekend. Congratulations once again.
We are now joined by Amanda Duarte of Team Revolution, the winner of the 13-under girls forms overall grand championship here at the Compete Internationals. Amanda, how's it feel?
Oh, it feels really good. I've been waiting for this tournament because I've never been here before, so it was my first year. And I had this goal of mine, which was to win every NASCA 6A event. And I'm proud to say that I've won every stage, so I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see what else the future holds.
And congratulations on that major achievement. And it's also the perfect segue, because I want to talk about over the last few years, you've been on stages like this all the time, winning overall grand championships left and right, doing it as a traditionalist, but also throwing in some CMX wins as well. What does it take to be that consistent in your success?
So I try to do out my schedule for the day during school. Like I go to school, I come home, and I just try to train really hard every day. This is what I want. This is what I live for. I live for karate. I live coming to these tournaments. So I just train my hardest, and the results, they come. Yeah, hard work pays off.
And who's somebody that you want to give a shout out for helping you find this success this weekend?
I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Haley Glass, because she's my mentor. I want to be like her one day when I grow up. But definitely Maddy Kennaway, my coach in New York, Sensei Steven, and my Brazilian coach Christian, and Dawson Holt, my other coach, that I can't wait to watch perform tonight.
All the coaches. I love it, Amanda. Well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judah Sagawa of Team Freestyle, the winner of both the 14 to 17 boys forms and weapons overall grand championships. You won the weapons overall grand before you even walked on stage because you won traditional and CMX. What felt so good about this weekend that helped you be so dominant?
I think the biggest thing is just every tournament I try to improve something, whether it's adding something new or if it's going faster in a certain section and hitting harder. My goal is just to improve everything. And the last few tournaments, I haven't been able to do that because my conditions haven't been good. Like at Diamond Nationals, I had a sprained ankle. At AKA, I had the flu. So I'm just proud that I was able to improve this tournament. And yeah.
For sure. Overcoming adversity is a big part of your story. And there's also some adversity that you give yourself. Like I saw in one of your divisions this weekend, you went for a quad spin release catch in a division, not a runoff, not an overall grand. You're throwing that level of difficulty in a division. Why?
So my goal, especially in creative weapons, is I just want to like try to do new stuff in that division. So I don't feel as confident throwing that stuff in a musical and extreme forms, but I think I can take that risk in creative. So now that I know I can do it, I might be able to do it at other tournaments and other divisions.
That's awesome. And by the way, I love the fact that you take that risk in the division because you're really pushing yourself. It's not about what anybody else in the ring is doing. It's about you trying to reach your own personal goals. And speaking of which, you've got so many big wins under your belt. What's the next thing on your list this year? What are those goals that you want to mark off the checklist?
I would really like to go to Quebec. I would like to get on stage there. It's just an amazing environment, and I just really want to feel that energy again. Obviously, my biggest goal of every year, the ISKA World Championship in both individuals and demo, number one priority for me. I really want to get those titles.
Awesome. Well, Judah, we will keep watching you all year, especially as we get closer to the U.S. Open in July. Congratulations again, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We are now joined by the 14-17 girls forms overall grand champion, Sofia Rodriguez Florez. Sofia, congrats on the win. Tell us how it feels.
It feels amazing. It's my last year in 14-17 or as a junior in general, so it's really nice to win my last time as a junior at Kentucky.
And what are you looking forward to about moving into that adult division? We've been watching you for years on stage in the juniors now, collecting a ton of wins. What are you excited about in the adults?
Everything, to be honest. The new divisions that come with it, the new competitors, the competition is going to go up to a whole nother level. I'm just ready for all the training and hopefully wins as well.
We're excited to see you there. Congrats again, Sofia.
Thank you.
We are now joined by Jake Mueck, Team Paul Mitchell's one of their newest members to the adult division. You know, he's been on the team for a couple of years, but this was his debut tournament in the adults, fighting alongside the guys in team fights, and then obviously having a big debut in the open weight. But before we get to that open weight fight, Jake, just tell us about moving up to the adult division and what that's been like for you.
Moving up to the adult division has been a very crazy, surreal experience. Last year as a junior, I wouldn't say I had my full last year as a junior, so I really couldn't end that year on a good note. So I definitely, this tournament was a big tournament for me. One, just moving up to the men's division, and two, being able to establish a name for myself. Not being able to compete as much last year, not a lot of people saw me, so I really wanted to move up this year and really show people what I'm about, and that's what I tried to do this weekend.
Talk about showing people what you're about. Your very first fight as an adult, you walk in the ring with Raymond Daniels, the man who many consider to be the greatest of all time.
Yes, sir.
Talk about, how does that feel, man?
So at first we weren't matched up together. He joined the bracket was something completely different. He ended up getting his name added in. I knew going into this tournament I wanted to fight either somebody very experienced. I knew that Jack was from California. I knew Ray was from California. I knew that I was going to have one of those experiences. And for my first fight to be Ray, and for my first fight to have the opportunity to fight him, get in the ring with him, and pull out a win on Ray is something that in a million years I would have never imagined I would have ever fought Ray in my life. He has done so much for the sport. He has done so much for me. He's just done so much overall for the whole sport of point fighting that it was a crazy experience being able to step in the ring.
And in divisional sparring, you make it all the way to the lightweight overall grand championships, fighting on stage here tonight. Wind up being the runner-up to your teammate, teammate, Enrique Letona. So tell us a little bit about how that feels being kind of in these raw emotions, fighting against a teammate, being happy for your teammate, but at the same time, it's taking a loss yourself, and maybe any advice for how to deal with that for young competitors that haven't experienced that yet.
So I feel like when it comes to me taking a loss to Enrique tonight, Enrique is a very talented, probably arguably the best kicker right now that we have in this sport for men's. Taking a loss to him, I would definitely say that for me, I looked at it as for my first, since this was my debut tournament as an adult, I already did so much leading up to this, leading up to me winning grands, me winning my regular division, me having the opportunity to fight and to beat Ray, that I looked at me fighting Enrique tonight as more of an opportunity and not as, oh, I need to go out here and beat my teammate. Like, this is what I have to beat this guy tonight. I looked at it more as an opportunity that not a lot of people get to have. Nobody at 18 years old gets to make a debut fight as an adult and make it all the way to lightweight overall. So for all the new guys coming up, I feel like taking a loss is taking and looking at it and be like, okay, you made it all the way this far to lightweight overalls. Now, what do we need to work on? You see how these guys are fighting. You see how much differently that they are and how they're fighting and everything like that. Now, what do I have to do when I go back to the lab to train? What do I have to do differently? And I really just think of it as an experience that a lot of people should be able to get in their life.
A fantastic adult debut weekend for Jake Mueck, and some wise words there as well. Thank you so much for your time, and congrats.
Sprite, please sponsor me. I love your drink. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Now we are joined by Kameren Ali of Team Paul Mitchell, the heavyweight overall grand champion. And Cam, I want to start rewinding back to Diamonds, where it seemed like there might be some uncertainty about your future as we hear the chant in the background for Team Paul Mitchell winning yet again tonight. So talk about the evolution that you've had and what it took to get back in the ring this weekend and look as good as you looked all weekend.
Yeah, man, it's I'm extremely grateful and thank you just for the opportunity to have the support system I have and at home with my wife and my children. And just allows me to truly come out here and have ease within my mind, the staff at my school, the brotherhood I'm a part of. And when it comes to all that I do, it's really the support system and it's nothing of myself. So I just do my best to come out and represent my family, my beliefs, and just truly uphold the standard of the team to be the best, athlete and teammate I could possibly be. If it wasn't for the teammates, I wouldn't be doing it.
That's beautiful. And I want to speak to your leadership and veteran role that you have on this team. We've got some young guys, Jake Mueck in his first year as an adult, Sebastian Villanueva still in the 16-17 division. You've known Alex Mancillas for a long time, and of course the new addition of Enrique Letona. Yeah. I think that covers all the male fighters that we got here this weekend.
No, don't forget. We even though they're not here, we got to mention them other killers, man. You still got Stacks, you still got Hot, man. We have an awesome lineup, and it's a blessing to just be with those guys, man. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
For sure. And so speak a bit to how important it is to be a leader for these guys, to be somebody that sets the standard for this group.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say a leader because that comes with so much, but I would definitely say I'm just striving to be a guide, and I'm transparent with them, and I'm letting them know these times that I've fallen, these times that I've gotten distracted, and these challenges of life that will come on this path. So less about how they kick and how they punch, but just trying to be here for these guys because life is going to kick all our butts. But when you have brothers to turn to and sisters to turn to, it should just make it a little bit easier. So when we do fall, we can act for pillows for one another.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Cam. And last one for you, the performance that we just saw on stage, absolutely dominant. You were really firing on all cylinders. Tell us, what are you seeing up there when things are coming to you like that?
Well, first and foremost, thank you to Mr. Joseph Brackett, just not only for winning his division and getting to the stage, that's a great accomplishment within itself. We always strive to take it 1 point at a time, one match at a time. So dominant is relative to whatever the score is, but I really just want to be better than what my last performance was, and I believe I achieved that, and now I have to duplicate it over and over again. Some will say, this person's not here, that person's not here, it wasn't that many, but once we come into the building, we are the competition, and we strive to achieve whatever the ultimate goal is, and that is to win and most importantly, go home safe.
Wise words from Kameren Ali. Cam, congratulations. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you, family. Thank you.
We are now joined by the newest fighter on Team Paul Mitchell, Enrique Letona. He just won the lightweight overall grand championship and had a big weekend winning the open weight, helping Team Paul Mitchell win team fights. Enrique, undefeated on the weekend. How does that feel?
Oh man, I feel first I want to say thank God because without him it's impossible to do it. And second one, I'm feeling really great. You know, yesterday canceled my flight. I was running back here, so it was really everything was different. But right now I feel really good because I won everything here in compete. So I feel very very good with the team GPM because it's my first time and I feel really good.
And I know that Team Paul Mitchell is a goal that you've had for a long, long time. Talk about how special it is to have a weekend like this wearing this uniform.
Oh, I remember when I was young watching Paul Mitchell, and I say one time to my dad, one day I will be there. And he told me, I know. So now it's so special because it's my dream to be in Paul Mitchell. And right now I feel really good because everyone is family over here. So I feel really good.
And one thing Coach Damon always says is that it's not about what you did to get on the team. It's about what you do when you're on the team. So what's next for you? After almost a perfect weekend like this, what other goals do you have in mind for this year?
Of course, the coach is really good, really great. I feel really good. And my next is to be the number one in NASCAR, WACO, all world. So I'm working on that.
Congratulations, Enrique.
Thank you so much.
Now we're joined by Alex Mancillas of Team Paul Mitchell. He's the winner of the light heavyweight point sparring division earlier today, and then ultimately was in the grand championship with teammate Kameren Ali, who we're watching in the finals here tonight. So, Alex, first and foremost, let's start with that. You've had the unique experience as Team Paul Mitchell has grown, fighting against teammates, and how weird that must be to want to win, but also want to see your brothers do well.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that unique circumstance.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. Right? I would even say unique is an understatement because when I first got picked up on the team, I call myself the pandemic pickup, right? Got picked up, COVID happened, and I was the only active fighter on the roster. So to go from just me as an active fighter to having these incredible teammates I get to call family, be a part of this team, and Cam, Stacks, Hop, Enrique, Jake, and we're just stacked on the line. And to be able to fight them now, it's honestly been very interesting. Something I'm definitely not used to just because it's always just been me on the team as an active fighter. But I've been blessed because, as they say, iron sharpens iron, and we all want to be the best. So whether it goes Cam's way, Stack's way, my way, Enrique's way, like I fought Enrique in open weight, and he got the win, and he won the final tonight, and I'm super happy for him. But as I said earlier, iron sharpens iron, so we're just going to get better.
Iron sharpens iron, certainly a great quote. And we'll use that to segue into your first place fight in the light heavyweight division today, where you got to go up against the GOAT. What's it like stepping in the ring with Raymond Daniels? Albeit at this point in his career, it's still stepping in the ring with Raymond Daniels. Tell us about that.
It was a surreal experience. I mean, growing up as a point fighter, you want to look at the greats, right, as film study. So watching Damon Gilbert, who's our amazing Hall of Fame, best of the best coach, and looking at Ross Levine and looking at Raymond Daniels, the list can go on, Justin Ortiz, this can go on and on. But to step into that ring, I was like, this is insane. I'm sharing the ring with arguably one of the best point fighters to ever do it. But at the end of the day, yes, we have respect for people we look up to, but as a fighter who's up and coming, I have to say it's my time, and if I don't tell myself that, I kind of not gonna get the results I want. So it was great to share the ring with him. I was able to come out with the win. It doesn't mean I'm satisfied, but I was more than happy to share the ring because sharing the ring with him, a lot of my coaches have shared the ring with him as well. Damon Gilbert and Ross Levine, Justin Ortiz. So kind of stepping in that ring, I was like, I got to use bits and pieces of all my mentors against him and then just trust myself, and I did.
And Alex, just briefly, One of the notable inactives this weekend was Haley Glass, who's been dominant in the women's division. We know that you know Haley pretty well.
Yeah, something
so tell
like
us,
that.
how weird has it been being at a tournament and not having Haley by your side?
No, she's definitely a big part of this team. You know, we met through martial arts almost 9 years ago at AmeriKick in Philly. So not having her here, we definitely miss her energy, miss her intensity in the forms, in the weapons, in trad. So we're missing her for sure. Miss her by the ringside, but she's out there doing some really cool stuff with Adrenaline Worldwide. So be on the lookout for that, for some content in the next coming year. But I miss her. If you're watching this, babe, I love you.
Thanks for your time, Alex.
No, thank you. Shout out to Sport Karate Zone. Stay tuned.
Now stepping in the booth, we've got Sara Campbell, the winner of the women's CMX Weapons Overall Grand Championship. She's got one of the most difficult bow forms in the division, all kinds of crazy tricks. She stuck it tonight and takes home the win. Sara, how's that feel?
It feels really incredible. This is my third time winning this overall, so that really means a lot to me, and I'm just really excited for it.
What is it that feels so special about Competes, winning this overall grand 3 times?
So this was my first overall I ever won, and so it means a lot. I always tell myself, like, first time's luck, second time's coincidence, and then third time's when you really have it. And so being able to win my third overall here really just seals it for me and makes it really special.
And a lot of young competitors know that it's nerve-wracking to go out there, especially on a stage like this, and do a whole bunch of difficult tricks. What do you do to kind of center yourself and stay focused on the goal and not let yourself get caught up in the natural anxieties of competing?
I really try to focus on just my breathing and calming myself down, just focusing myself. Sometimes I'll go like stare at a wall, just calm my mind and make it so there's less distractions going on, and that always helps me to really be in control of my form.
Some great advice for young competitors, Sara. Thank you for your time and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
We're now joined by Sofia Campos, now a back-to-back women's traditional weapons overall grand champion here at the Compete International. Sofia, congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. How does it feel to go back-to-back?
It's great. Thank you so much. I mean, actually, my last one the one that I won was here at Compete. So it's great to win in my home state, California. So it's great to represent California.
That's awesome. We know the hometown crowd here absolutely loved watching you kill it up there. Talk a bit about being a traditional weapons competitor as a kung fu or soft style specialist going up against the hard style that is so different from what it is that you specialize in. How weird is that as a competitor?
Well, it's great, definitely being different. I get to wear a cool uniform, definitely different. But it's great for everyone to see something different, and if I can entertain people, that's all that I want. So it's great.
Awesome. Well, certainly entertaining, Sofia. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
We are now joined by the Women's CMX Forums overall grand champion of Team CBR, Kaitlyn Vong. Congratulations on the big win. Tell us how it feels.
Feels really good. This weekend wasn't really the best competition-wise, so it's really good to get my last win in creative forms and be able to make it on stage tonight and just finish where I started, trusting my training. So really good.
And talk about the unique challenge of winning the creative forms division, meaning that you're limited in what you can do on stage in terms of not being able to go upside down and do tricking skills, right? Talk about any strategy changes going into a creative form finals against somebody that you know is going to be tricking.
Right. Yeah, so if I'm not tricking, I really just try to put focus a lot on my basics, on my strikes, clean strikes. Another thing that I'm known for are my kicks. So I try my best to show off what I can do with that compared to the other people who focus on their tricks.
And for anybody watching at home, one of your best skills is that kicking ability. Do you have any tips and tricks for anybody watching from home to upgrade their kicking skills?
Definitely a lot of stretching, hip mobility drills, just working on that side kick, wall kicks. That's pretty much all I did growing up. So,
well, thank you for your time, Kaitlyn. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
We are now joined by Maddy Kennaway, the winner of the Women's Traditional Forms Overall Grand Championship. Maddy, we saw you at the Warrior Cup with some great performances there. Now coming to the Compete Internationals and taking home the Overall Grand Championship here. Tell us about this experience.
So this is my first time at the Competes Internationals. So I had a big goal of getting on stage because I was on stage in AK, which was a wonderful experience. So I really wanted to get on again, and I did it. And winning the overall, it was truly heartwarming. All the love from the audience and everything, I really appreciate it. And yeah, it was just a really amazing experience. Always on a NASCAR stage. It's a very amazing experience.
That's awesome. And one of the things that sets you apart is this kata that you almost have your own signature on with the music and the choreography. Tell us a little bit about the specific kata that you use and what makes it special for you.
So the kata I do is called Komemuro Hakutsuru, but I just say Hakutsuru because the name's so long. It's a white crane kata. I learned it a couple years ago from Sensei Joey Castro, and I guess the flowy movements, going from soft movements to fast movements is probably like one of my favorite things when I do any kata, but this kata specifically has a lot of it. So I kind of just like made it my own just by practicing over doing it in different tournaments. Like how I kind of molded it to my own, I guess you could say.
Well, thank you for sharing and congratulations again on the win.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We are now joined by Samuel Diaz III, the winner of the men's traditional forms overall grand championship. Sam, I know this one's been a long time coming for you. I know this one feels good.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about it.
Oh, man, coming into today, I took a little hiatus at the end of last season because I welcomed my daughter, Sofia Emperatriz, into the world and focusing on family. And then coming into Chicago, I just wanted to I knew it was going to be an uphill battle, but I wanted to have fun and just let the momentum roll into this tournament. And, it's always great when I could share the stage with, especially my teammates, Dawson, and everybody else in the 18-plus division and Diego and all them, and just try to keep up with the young guys,
And it always makes for a great matchup when you get two different people winning the traditional Japanese forms as well as the traditional challenge, because they're essentially going to get a rematch against each other.
Exactly.
And that was the way the stage was set between you and Diego Rodriguez Florez.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that matchup and the respect you have for him as a competitor.
Oh, man, Diego is, I've loved to see how he's grown over the years. He's coming into himself as a martial artist, as a karateka. And yesterday in Trad Challenge, he really went after it. He had a flawless performance there, and it was beautiful to see. And then coming into today, I said, let's try to get one back. And we were able to do that in the 18-plus division. And then in runoffs, get another one. It's like we just got to keep the momentum going, So Diego's done a great job, though. I'm really proud of him.
And my last question for you, I know that the kata you ran is a kata that is near and dear to your heart.
Yes, sir.
You've been really putting the work in on the last year to run Hota. So tell us a little bit of the background of this kata and how it feels to get up there and do it on stage.
Oh, man. All right. So Hotak, I grew up watching this form being done by a Jersey legend, Adrian Muniz and Wankan Dojo out of there. They run that form, and it's a blessing to be able to learn it and run it. And Hotak is the base form. It's really known as Yuseishi, but it's base form for all the Goju Shihos. And it has grown from there. So a lot of people, when they watch the form, they're like, man, that kind of looks like Goju Shio Sho. Kind of looks like Goju Shio Dai. There's elements in there. Obviously, for NASCAR, I modified it slightly to kind of make it my own and bring it to life with the karate from the heart, But it's been great to kind of see that form grow over the past year and a half and really now hit the strides and put it into place and just overall just try to share different karate. We have a lot of great up-and-coming competitors, and as many know, there's a lot of trend katas taking place. So it's always nice to kind of bring something different. In Trad Challenge, I do Nija Shiho. I used to do Sochin past 2 years. Now we're bringing Nija Shiho out. So that way we can just educate and just let everybody know that, it's okay to be different.
Sam Diaz, always bringing us karate from the heart.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for your time.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
We are now joined by Team Paul Mitchell's Phillip Brumme and your Compete Internationals men's CMX forms overall grand champion. Phillip, coming out, I know that you've been on Paul Mitchell for the Toronto Tournament of Champions and then the Warrior Cup this year, but this is your first Team Paul Mitchell sponsored team event with the whole squad, a little bit more coaching staff here. Tell us about this experience to get this overall grand championship, knowing the importance of this tournament to the team.
The thing is, coming into each tournament, it's going to be a bit of a battle. My division is stacked. It has so many amazing athletes in it. So when I come to these tournaments, I know I'm going to have to fight. And with each form, that's kind of how I see it. Is it's a fight between myself and pushing myself from the last tournament. So trying to get this win, I just fought as hard as I could. And it came down to literally the last division of Friday night. I won musical forms, and that took me to the overall grand championship.
Awesome. And in this particular matchup, going up against a teammate in Esteban Tremblay, where he had one of his landings not go as planned, you're coming up right after him. What's going through your mind as you're seeing that happen?
I mean, as an athlete, it's normal to be like, oh, somebody messed up. But I know they messed up. That's not always how it can be seen from the judges. So I didn't change anything. In fact, I went harder. I don't want to win just by like barely. I don't want to skate by. I want to win straight 9. So that's going to be the goal next time.
Wanting to do it the right way. We love it. And then last question for you. Competing in front of a lot of legends this weekend. In the eliminations, you had Matt Immig stage side watching. Now here at the night show, Steve Tirada, Rudy Raynon, these Paul Mitchell legends, many of which have inspired you. What's it like to compete in front of them?
I didn't really think about it until right now. So, I mean, every time you compete, you never know who's watching. That's something I've been told for a long time. So when I compete, I just think about performing and trying to put on as good of a show for everybody that's watching. It doesn't necessarily matter who.
Congratulations on the win, Phillip.
Thank you.
We are now joined by men's traditional weapons overall grand champion Jake Presley of Team Paul Mitchell. Jake, tell us about this experience. Now living in Los Angeles a lot of the time, kind of a hometown event for you, right?
Yes, sir. I've been out here for a couple of years now, and it's always one of my favorite tournaments to go to, and being closer to it, it's a whole different experience, and it's been a great tournament. I went up against a whole bunch of just amazing competitors, and I'm lucky I got to come home with this one.
And at this particular event, you lived up to your nickname Wild Card with a little bit of extra sauce on the end of the form. You had a different strike at the end. Where did that decision come from, and do you think that played a role tonight?
I was warming up, and I just thought at Chicago I didn't take that one home, and I was thinking maybe I needed to add a little extra something, and my competition is just phenomenal, and I think it might have been that little extra thing that helped me out, because I've been doing the form I've had with changes over the past few years, but I needed to add a little extra sauce at the end there. I think it helped out.
Jake, one thing that sets you apart from other competitors is that you have found this way of taking the traditional weapons division and making it your own. At these tournaments anymore, you show up, this is your division. It's the only division you compete in, despite the fact that you've got the skills to be in a lot of divisions, but you focused it on this and you've become completely dominant. Speak a little bit to that strategy and how it feels to just come in knowing exactly what the job that you've got to get done is.
So it first started off with I started pursuing a career out here in LA, trying to get into stunts, and I don't want to compete in divisions where I feel like I can't give it my all. I've been doing this. I love doing this sport my whole life, and I love it too much to do a division I'm not giving it my all. So I realized that I should pick what I think I'm best at and really focus in on that. And it's allowed me to extend my competition career a good 2 years at least. And it's just that, finding what I could still make happen while doing school and working and training and whatnot. And it's really kept my love for the sport there as well. I don't feel as burned out, even though I've been doing it, since I started walking. I still love it.
We love it. That's awesome. And last question for you, Jake. Later in the show, your sister, Avery Presley, is going to be on stage for her traditional bow form.
Sir.
What does she have to take a page out of her brother's book in order to pull off a win?
Like I have said before, she's got to go out there and act like she's beating up the invisible ninjas. If she goes out there and does that and performs like that, she'll do amazing.
Jake Presley, ladies and gentlemen, always a pleasure. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me on, Mr. Rudolph.
We are now joined by all of Team Freestyle. First and foremost, congratulations to the whole squad on a big win. Holding the microphone is none other than Will Jackson, the mastermind behind the Freestyle Team demo. Will, tell us about competing in SoCal and what it's like to please the crowd behind us.
Competing in SoCal. Well, we love competing in SoCal because most of the tournaments we go to are, across the country. So we go to Florida, we go to, Chicago, we're doing the NASCAR circuit. So it's really nice to be able to compete in our backyard.
That's awesome. And I know that you're in the dojo with these guys all the time because they're all training at your school in San Diego. And so talk about some of the challenges leading up to this event that you guys have been working through, and what are you proud of the guys for overcoming?
Good question. I think the challenges for us are not super unique. You know, like we're always dealing with pain. You know, we're always dealing with scheduling. You know, we're always dealing with, you know, distractions of some sort. We're dealing with, you know, trying to overcome certain adversities from maybe previous tournaments. But I don't think that that's unique. You know, we don't even make excuses about it. We say, hey, all the teams are contending with the same challenges. We got to go out there and execute. But really, whatever success we have, it's a reflection of these people behind me. You know, it's all of these athletes and the effort that they put in. There is no team freestyle without the squad behind me here.
Beautiful answer. And I want to give you an opportunity to make some shout outs. I know you got a big squad behind you, but who are some people that stood out? Who really stepped up and helped make this weekend possible?
Oh, man. Everybody. I promise, I know it sounds cliche. It takes the whole team. It takes the whole team. Now, do we have new people that step up that don't have as much experience? Yes, but they still provide value. You know, but of course we have leadership on the team, and it starts with our two seniors. You know, Respect, Kennedy Isbell. We've got champions on the team that you guys all know. You know, Judah Sagawa. Lila Barch just got on stage, did a great form. Abigail Hunk, you guys all know these guys. And we've got people that don't always win, but are great competitors. Probably should be recognized more than they are. But it really takes the entire squad, and it's really a reflection of them and not me.
Thank you, Will, and thank you, Team Freestyle. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.